Alright, so I read a couple of novellas by Patrick Rothfuss that are supposed to be in the Name of the Wind universe, Kavoth universe, whatever. I read The Lightning Tree, which is supposed to be about a day in the life of Bast, who is the Fey guy that lives with Kavoth in this inn. And I've seen some people on Goodreads reviewing that didn't like Name of the Wind, that they thought Bast and Kavoth were gay lovers or some weird shit like that. But this totally puts that to rest because they're both talking about hot chicks in this together. Like, they're both turned on by them. And Kavoth is out, like, or Bast is out doing this thing where there's this tree. I think that's what it was. The tree that had been struck by lightning or something. He sits next to it. And all the kids in the town know you can go up to him and you can, like, give him things. Could be information. It could be just interesting stuff. And he will tell you things. Or he'll, like, yeah, he'll solve a lot of your problems. He'll tell you the way to solve your problems. It's really interesting. And it's kind of like he just goes around and, like, somebody told him, like, where somebody took their bath at. And he, like, went and spied on her. And he told Kavoth about it. And it's kind of... He's supposed to, like, gone and got some apples or some carrots for the stew. Yeah, he's supposed to got some carrots, so he, like, trades somebody some carrots for something else, and then, like, he kind of makes all these deals that work around that. I kind of forgot it because it's been a while. It's really short, though. It's a pretty good read, though. Doesn't really tell you anything new as far as the Chandrian or the Name of the Wind story, or, like, theories. But I don't think. It's kind of weird. Then I also read Slow Regard of Silent Things. This one, I mean, it's good, but it's kind of weird. It's not as good as Lightning Tree, but it's long. It's longer, but it's got my favorite character, which is Ari, which I didn't even catch on. Apparently that's, you know, Auric means golden, so Ari is kind of like means gold. And then Name of the Wind and Wise Man's Fear, you can't really tell if she's human or if she's Fey. So you kind of wonder, because she says all this weird stuff, like, he brings her things and then she'll give him things, like 3 things usually. And she would just say this weird stuff, like this fish has a harp instead of a heart, and this apple thinks it's a mouse or something like that. She would say weird stuff like that. And it was interesting. But then you get into this... She lives in this underground tunnel system underneath the university that he goes to that's so large. I don't know if she's mapped it all out in it. I don't know if the people in the university know that it exists, because it has all these different rooms with, like, furniture and, like, old stuff that would be kind of valuable. Somebody would loot if they knew it was there. Is there a way I can look up the names of the rooms? Names of the underthing rooms in Slow Regard of Silent Things. Because they all have... Oh, somebody's mapped it out. Okay. This is interesting. So she starts out in Mantle. Mantle is where she kind of goes up and talks to Kavoth from. Then she's got these different... 3 doors. One's a doorway, one's a door, and one's something else. So one goes to Port, one that goes to Van. So this is how she usually goes. To Van, and then Rubric, and then Greenlee, Crumbledon, Waynes. See, the names are really interesting because you're trying to figure out, like, why she names these rooms certain things. Mantle is where she keeps her stuff. Like, she'll find things that are interesting, but she won't keep them for the most part. So, NPR reviewed this and they said it was like a mystery wrapped in a riddle, because you're trying to figure out, like, what the fuck is this? Even Patrick Rothfuss said, like, he didn't want to publish it because it's like, it's too weird. Nobody's going to understand this. It's just weird. So, Van, there's a mirror there. And a mirror... If you look in a mirror, is that you have vanity, right? So I think it's like vanity is named after the mirror. Mantle is where she keeps her stuff on a mantle. There was a picture. Was it here? Yeah, this picture here is like she keeps her keepsakes here. She ends up at one point going on a dive. I think there was a picture of that here. And she has this light. I think it's one of those spirit lamps that they make. And she finds this gear. The gear has like a broken tooth. So it has like 9 teeth left. So it would be a 10-tooth gear. And she looks around at different items in the room to see if they belong. I don't know what methodology she's using to see if things belong or not. And she has to think about it really hard. And she figures out what's wrong with the room. And her job is basically making the world right. Like fixing little things. But it's only like in the under thing. She doesn't go above the ground really and like fix anything. It's all like, I think what it is she's not Fae. She's like a human that used to be a student, and she had obsessive compulsive disorder, and maybe she got lost or missing, and nobody knows that she's not there anymore or something. That's so weird. She'll look at a room and she'll say like, for some reason this room can't be set to rights or something, and she puts the gear on this mantelpiece and she turns it, and like it flips everything in the room sort of in her mind where now everything's lined up right. And she also names each day. Like when she wakes up, she's like, today is a mending day, or today is a finding day, and then she'll go like look for things on finding day, and today is a making day, and she'll like, one part of the story she's making soap because she ran out of soap. A mouse had ate her soap or something, and she's really obsessive compulsive about washing her hands and feet. She does that like constantly. And then so it's kind of, you're trying to figure out like the mind of an obsessive compulsive girl. She has this cloud of golden hair that floats around her head. They talk about that a lot. And she's always barefoot. What was the other rooms? Tanners, bakers, clinks. I think clinks is the one that has like a bunch of copper pipes, so it probably makes a clinking sound. And then she finds like this one room that was new, like vaults, I think was the one that had like a bookcase that had like some sheets in it, and she like feels the sheets. She's like, this is really soft, perfect, clean sheets. It'd be nice to sleep in them, but she doesn't take them. She leaves them there because that's where they belong. She's so obsessed with like where things belong and put them in their proper place. And like she'll just take like a button, and she realizes it belongs in this room under this rug with this other thing because it needs to keep it company or something. And like she personifies like objects to make them like angry or sad, or like she knows what they're feeling. It kind of makes you think that it has something to do with the naming magic. Like you know something about something so much that you can learn its name just by looking at it long enough and studying it and knowing everything about that. Here's where she's turning that gear to like fix the whole room. Here's where she's putting a drop of something into that soap mixture she's making. Yeah, here's where she's like putting all of the negative energy into this clay marble or something like that, and like extracting out the anger, or putting it in the soap. I can't understand what the fuck's going on. Here's where she's wringing it, the essence of the lavender she put in this thing, and like she's like scented soap. I mean, there's like a lot of time spent on just making this soap. I don't know what, this is like a fan fiction one, I think. This is both. What's going on here? That looks a little perverted. Here's a picture of Ari and Kavoth. Oh, that's cool. Is there like statuettes you can get? Dude, I might have to get one of these. If it's a real thing, or is it just a drawing? What was the other ones I thought I could figure it out? Tree and black door. Obviously, they probably just have a tree and a black door in it. Candle bear probably has a candle and a bear in it. Pickering. Pickering was one like she's really scared of. She doesn't like going through that room if she can find a different way to get there. Dunnings. Oh, what was the one that was like Wayne's? Wayne's is like the sitting room with like this chair and a couch and stuff in it, I think. So I think Maybe it has wainscoting on it? Isn't that like a thing? I'm thinking of like Scotchgard. What's wainscoting? Is that like argyle or some kind of fabric? Crumbledon? It's probably like had some crumbled down walls in it. 9 wise. There's something about 9 wise and that gear having 9 teeth. I think she was trying to like make it fit or something. What is this? This isn't. This is something else. Umbel, Tumbrel, the 12, Rubric, Burrow. I don't know if anybody's read this book and you figured any of these rooms out. Like it's kind of like a mystery. Pretty cool though. I mean, I gave it a 3 out of 5 just because I don't think most people would like it. Oh, that's cool. You can get a 9-tooth gear necklace. Etsy shop. That's a real thing. Huh. Very shit. Anyway. I mean, it's something that kind of adds to the name of the wind. There's another story called How Old Holly Came to Be. I think that's part of it. I probably should read that. I think it was just like a short story in another book with the other people. Anyway.